Hey now, it's Brace for Impact, and I'm your host, Mike Gilbert, and I'm going solo on that ass, but it's still the same. We're talking TNA Rebellion. And I gotta say, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times, it was wacky at times, it was a lot of fun most of the time, and it ended on a crazy note. But I do have to say, it ended in a way that I predicted on this show several weeks ago, and nobody in the world likes to be right more than me, honestly. And when I'm right about stuff, I'll let you know. I called all of it, literally all of it. Like maybe not in the order that it all happened, but I told you when Matt Hardy left AEW, I was like he did not look good in AEW for a long time. He looked like he was cooked. Brother was toast, and I assumed that if he could not get a producer gig in WWE, because I was like, look, the guy can barely walk. WWE's not going to hire him to wrestle. It's just not going to happen. And I was like, I don't think he said that he got a contract offer from AEW that he didn't like and he turned it down. Who knows what that really meant? Who knows what that really was? But I've been saying all along, like the only spot that he's gonna get to be him, that he's gonna get to do his broken Matt Hardy character to in a manner that he would want to do it is going to be in TNA. The last time he was like truly over was TNA. So, and the last time that they had some television success was when Matt Hardy was doing the Broken Hardy character, and that was back when they were on Pop TV, and they were actually like popping ratings with a lot of the stuff that they were doing. It was so successful they strung it out a lot longer than it was supposed to last, and it lasted a long time, and they did great with it. They really did. And it created it added like 10 years to his career. Hold on, swig of water for the working man. So yeah, but Matt Hardy closes the show. I'll get into the results in a little bit. Matt Hardy closes the show. He is now in TNA. I don't know. I'm not following social. I'm not checking out socials while I'm recording. So if you guys see any news pop up about whether or not like he has signed, like it's officially like signed or anything, I'm sure Sap will have the story or Mike Johnson will have the story. Feel free to pop into the chat and let me know, and I'll put you up on the chat. But yeah, Matt Hardy was definitely here. Hold on, I got Vince Burr in the chat. It says, hello, Mike. I missed the pay-per-view. So was Matt Hardy the big surprise? Matt Hardy was one of several surprises, but I would say he was the big surprise. Yeah, they closed the show with Matt Hardy. Yeah. So that was crazy. That was a wild ending, and I thought the main event was a pretty good match. And I know a lot of people wanted Moose to lose, and he did not. He retained the TNA World Heavyweight Championship over Nick Nemeth. And what I would say was Moose's best match of the year so far. I liked the Alex Shelley matches. They just took forever to get going, but this one was the Nick Nemeth match tonight was like all action from beginning to end, and I think it had a lot more heat. It really did. And Nemeth was pretty over in the building. So I thought that was a good main event, and it was definitely a hot ending, a polarizing ending. And I'm curious to hear what you guys all have to say about it. I got brother Nonzo. He is backstage right now. He is going to hop on here in a minute. He is a Patreon subscriber. So if you want to be a part of the team, part of the show, go to patreon.com/the Mike and JD show. And you can be a part of everything over there. So guys in the chat, I see you. I'm going to get to your chats, but if you want to stop me dead in my tracks, ask me a question or provide a comment that you want to get read right before everybody, and you want to interrupt my thought, I will stop dead in my track and I will get to your comment if you drop down a super chat. I'd really appreciate it. I know not everybody can do $5 a month on Patreon, but if you really want to support the show, just drop a super chat and that'd be great. I would greatly appreciate it. But I got my man Nonzo. Dude, guys, we got a ton to talk about. We got Santana returned. I think Maclin is signed. I think there was a star that I thought was coming that didn't show up. I want to talk about that. I think the Knockouts division is in dire straits. They just had one of their all-time worst matches in Knockouts championship history. They made Jordan Grace have a bad match, which is unbelievable. She never has bad matches, and she had one tonight. So there's a lot to get into tonight for the Rebellion show. But I got my first caller in, Nonzo.
Hey, how's it
Brother
going,
Nonzo, how
Mikey?
are you?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Hey, overall thoughts on the show, man? What did you think?
It was kind of mixed for me. I mean, there was a lot of good in there, but at the same time, there was just a couple of bad stuff going on this show, man. So I'll put it mixed for me. It's not hard to kill level or bound for glory level, but I would say it was a pretty decent show, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay. Now the show ended with Matt Hardy closing the show, coming out after he was the big lights out surprise, and lights go out again for like the third or fourth time on the show. Lights went out again, and Matt Hardy, Broken Matt, the 2016 version of Matt Hardy, is standing in the ring. He gives Moose the twist of fate, and then he's holding up the TNA Championship. How did the ending of the show hit with you?
To be honest, I was kind of mixed on that because I didn't quite know who I was going to expect. I know someone's going to pop up at the end of the match, at the end of the Moose match, but I wasn't quite sure who I was actually going to expect. Um, my Hardy coming in, I'm a little mixed on him because his gimmick is so outdated right now. So I don't know how that's going to resonate with everyone. I mean, judging by the crowd tonight, he's still over. That's kind of obvious. But from a creative standpoint, I'm not sure how that's going to pan out moving forward. I'm going to be pretty optimistic with my Hardy here, just because from a creative standpoint, I could tell he's pretty much the most creative person in that locker room. I do think he should have a hand in creative, especially from a booking decision. So, especially in booking decision. I'm sorry about that,
Yeah.
but I'm kind of mixed. I'm kind of mixed. I wasn't expecting anyone newsworthy to pop up because there really isn't a lot of free agents out there. So I wasn't expecting anything big. Um, I'm still kind of mixed on it. I'm going to look at it more positively moving forward because I hope he proves me wrong. In that sense. So that's something I'll probably look forward to
Yeah,
as we move on.
I feel you on that. I'm mixed because the last time I saw Matt Hardy wrestle, he could barely move.
Yeah,
I've been seeing his pictures online. The guy is shredded right now. He's got himself in a really good shape, but must like just because you have abs, that doesn't mean you have knees
exactly.
and hips. You know what I mean? Like the guy is pretty beat up. And but then again, the last time I really enjoyed watching Matt every week was when he was in TNA doing Broken Matt. So
Yeah,
I'm kind of like a little bit nostalgic for the Broken Matt gimmick to come back.
yeah. You know what you said. His in-ring ability is pretty limited at the moment, which is the downside. Which is why I'm a bit pessimistic moving forward. But the upside to that is um, When Matt has that freedom to do stuff, to do the things he wants to do, he's like the dude is pretty unlimited. Like he's open to trying so many things that make sense.
Yeah.
Um, the Matt Hardy character, the broken Matt Hardy character, was a pretty genius move, and he did so many things with that character. So I've always, Mike, we've always said that something there's almost a creative there's always something missing in creative when it comes to TNA. Like
Mhm.
everything from with how they book certain matches, everything seems so streamlined. Like it's pretty straightforward. There's nothing of substance to the creative side of things when it comes to TNA. So nothing makes sense. No swerves. Nothing. So I've always wanted something. I always wanted a concept that's a bit out of the box, and that's where someone like my Hardy typically comes in because he can come in with something. He can come in with a creative mindset that's completely out of the box. I do hope that with him being in the promotion, he can actually come up with good concepts that actually make sense, especially from a creative standpoint. So overall, I'm kind of mixed, but I'm willing to give him time and see how things go from there.
I feel you. I feel you on that, man. Hey,
Yeah.
before I let you go, because I got Gerard waiting in the green room, and I'm gonna pull Gerard in here in a minute. What was your favorite match of the night?
I kind of was digging the main event. I think the main event was pretty good. That's tough, man. That's tough because I felt like the some of the matches that were pretty good were pretty evened out.
Yeah,
Josh Hammerstone was pretty good. Moose um, Moose Nemeth was pretty good as well. The tag team title match was pretty good as well. So that's tough, man. That's tough. I would probably go with Moose Nemeth. Probably go
cool,
with Moose.
man.
Yeah.
Cool, man. And then obviously the big stinker of the night was Jordan
Oh
Grace
no.
versus SDL.
Oh no. No. That's not. No. I don't think that's worth. That's not worthy of conversation, man.
All
Yeah.
right, man. Hey, Nanza, I appreciate you hopping in. I'm gonna bring in Gerard right now, and then I think Lucha said he's gonna jump in a little bit too. So thank you for calling in, my brother.
All right, man.
All right,
Peace.
you take it easy.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Everybody, they're laying down comments. I'm gonna get to you guys in a little bit. I see your comments and I hear you, but right now I want to bring in one of my good friends from BodySlam.net. He is the biggest Chicago Bears fan and in the world. Even though Caleb Williams is going to be a bust. Gerard, how you doing, man? Gerard, are you there? Well, wow. Gerard. All right, hold on. I'm gonna send Gerard a message, and I'm gonna pull him off the stage. I thought he was calling in, but I'm gonna tell Gerard I pulled you up. Okay. All right. So Gerard is going to be backstage for a little bit, and then I'm going to try to get him in. Um, and then I'm going to get to some of your guys' chats. Like I said, you want to stop me dead in my track, hit a super chat. Okay. Hit a super chat and get your comments quick. All right. Humble Beast. So is Maclin signed for sure? I mean, he was out there with a contract. So I don't, it seemed like he was signed. He said that the last thing he wanted was a match on Rebellion. And, um, and then he got his match. So I'm guessing that he's signed. I don't think they're doing that if he's leaving. I could be wrong. But I don't know. Norbert says Matt Hardy is a downer, but opposite to him is Vince Burr. I love Matt Hardy. So glad he's back. Yeah. So I figured this is going to be super polarizing. Matt Hardy, and I'm kind of like I hate to ride the fence, but I'm kind of like right. I'm like in the middle right now on Matt Hardy. All right, Norbert says, where is Tessa Blanchard? So earlier today, that's been one of the big stories that have come out over the weekend. Earlier today, PW Insider was reporting that Tessa Blanchard and TNA Wrestling are in negotiations. Now, we have not seen Tessa since 2020 when she held up the company. She was in Mexico during the pandemic. She refused to come back and drop the title and asked for a shit ton of money to be able to do it, and they just fired her. They fired her, and she hasn't had a job. Like, she's been working a little bit of CMLL ever since. I think she's done some stuff with the Army Reserves or something like that. But yeah, she has not been seen. And she actually went to WoW for a little bit. She got fired from there too. So, but look, everybody says that Anthony Ciccone and Ariel Schneer are in charge of this company, but I think this company is very much being ran by Tommy Dreamer. And you saw his fingerprints on the show tonight. And Tommy Dreamer has always been a supporter of Tessa Blanchard. So, and honestly, the last time TNA pulled decent TV ratings, Tessa was the champion. Kenny Omega came in and pulled a couple of ratings, but Tessa was like when she was the champion, and it was like only for a few months, but when she was the champion, they pulled in they pulled in several episodes that were like in around 200,000 viewers. And the most viewed show that they ever had was like 227,000 for Kenny Omega. Something like, I'm just ballparking the figures, by the way. But right below that was a Tessa Blanchard led episode, and it was like 221. It was something pretty close to that back in 2020. So so she very much was a star for the company. And so, but I'm going to proceed on that one with caution. I don't think that they're coming. I really don't. So, or I don't think she's coming. I really don't. Ricky Williams, former running back for the New Orleans Saints and Miami Dolphins, says, "LOL, Mike. What are you laughing at, dude? What are you getting mad at me for, brother?" Antonio Baker, I'm so pissed that he's back. I'm assuming he's talking about Matt Hardy. Sammy being back is more than fine. And then they overbooked the KO match, which was the problem. Yeah, look, it's not that anything that the two wrestlers did, the two female wrestlers, they were in there. What they did was fine together, but it was overbooked. They put 5 male wrestlers in there that nobody gives a fuck about. That was the problem. So, so yeah, like they managed to book a bad match for Jordynne Grace, and Jordynne Grace doesn't have bad matches. They should be ashamed of themselves. They're embarrassing. And maybe they did all of that because they just didn't trust Steph DeLander to have a good match. Maybe, I don't know. But what they did stunk. It was awful. So the knockouts division is about as low as it's going to get right now. It is brutal right now. Especially, like, it's so bad that Jordynne Grace is having bad matches now. So nobody can say in 2024 that the knockouts division is the best women's division in all of pro wrestling. That's hardly ever been true because there's been Joshi promotions that have smoked them. Right? But if you want to talk about like between AEW, WWE, and TNA, where there were times when it was booked the best because their females were on par with the males. They never had the deepest roster because they ain't got any money. But the roster was never deeper, but at times it was booked the best because they were booked on par with the males. That's all anybody's ever asked for, right? But now we can't even get that. This is bad. We got like 8 women in this company, which is why we had to have 5 men interfere in this match, right? And do gimmicks and return. Like Sami Callihan had to return in the knockouts division, like, to feud with Khan and PCO. Fuck. What are we doing? That was horrendous, man. That was just awful. Jacob, I addressed the Sammy talks. I addressed the Tessa Blanchard talks. Dan V says that TNA is in a dire state. Well, I thought they did pretty good tonight. We'll see what the pay-per-view looks like, but I thought, like, production and ticket sales wise, it looked pretty good, and lighting and everything. I think it looks good. Gerard, are you there?
I'm here, brother. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, man. I pulled you up a little bit ago, but nobody could hear what you were saying. So, hey, I got a few questions for you. And
go ahead, bro.
So, what do you think about Matt Hardy returning to TNA?
I'm kind of in the middle like you are, but I think the buzz that he's going to bring, he knows how to, generate buzz wherever he's at. I love the broken gimmick. It never really took off in AEW because he was there during the pandemic, and it needs a crowd to get the maximum exposure. Some of the stuff he did in WWE after he left, or when he went back and he was teaming with Bray Wyatt, was pretty decent. But even there, like, they never really creatively completely got behind the broken gimmick. So I think, like, creatively, TNA is the best spot for him. Wrestling wise, like, he really can't. He's not going to put on a good match with Moose. Let's put it that way. But I think he'll generate enough buzz around. Like, let's say they do Matt Hardy and Moose at Slammiversary. He'll generate enough buzz to move some tickets and get people to come to the show. But it's basically just a guy that we can put in the main event and prolong Nick Nemeth coming back in, most likely at Bound for Glory, I would think, to actually win the title.
So you think eventually Nemeth gets the belt?
I do.
Okay, because we know that Nemeth is very likely on a PPA deal, and I did hear not that long ago that Nemeth might actually be heading into AEW, whether it be for a Adam Copeland challenge or whatever, but I did hear that he's probably going to be heading there at some point.
He could. I mean, I know when he was talking in an interview a little bit ago. I forgot who it was with, but he said that the reason he came to TNA was because of Scott and some of the other people. I think it was like Tommy Dreamer and maybe like Josh Alexander reached out to him. But he said that like for about a year he's gonna just kind of do his own thing, and then after that, like he didn't want a home for the first year after free agency. So even if we get him for a year, like put the title on him, let him drop it before he goes. Like we get him from October to January, he can even if he wins it at Bound for Glory, he can drop it at Hard to Kill or Rebellion, and then go somewhere else if he's gonna do that. But hopefully we'll have him around for that long. I don't know, like I'm assuming he's on a PPA too, but
Yeah. Another question. What were your overall thoughts on Rebellion?
overall thoughts were it was a really good show. I'm not gonna say great because of that one match, but I'm not gonna let that one match like it was bad, but I'm not gonna let that one match like ruin the whole show for me.
Yeah.
It's like it was wildly overbooked, but like everything else, the good definitely outweighed that one bad match. We got Maclin. Nobody expected. We did, we talk about it in the chat all the time. Maclin re-signing was huge,
Yeah.
and then we had Santana, Sammy, and Matt Hardy all coming back.
Yeah.
I think now that Scott, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I think now that Scott's gone, there's a decent chance we might actually see Sammy get the book for a little bit.
I think that if they're going to use Sammy Callahan, and clearly they are, having him in creative and as a producer is probably where he needs to be. Now, they just lost one of their top producers who went to AEW, and that's Chris Sabin. So a spot opened up there. And so you see we lost the Motor City Machine Guns. Their last match was this past Thursday night. And they have quickly replaced them with Matt Hardy, Sammy Callahan, and Mike Santana. And I don't know if like the trade-off is that good because the Motor City Machine Guns are all-time greats and they're still at the top of their game. But give me Santana doing his stuff in the ring, Broken Matt doing some shtick, and maybe selling some tickets, and Sammy, booking. I think I could be okay with that. I think that's not the worst trade-off in the world.
No, I don't think. I mean, obviously, I wish the Guns would have stuck around, and I'm not going to get into that whole thing. But I wish they would have stuck around and we still added these people because then it would be even better. But I don't think it seemed like, and I don't know this for sure, but it seemed like when Sammy left, they either didn't want to pay him to do wrestle, produce, and everything else because it seemed like he wanted to get more into the backstage stuff. So maybe now that Scott's gone, he can really dive into some of like whether it's creative, whether it's producing, whether it's actually giving him the book and letting him. Because dude, we talk about it pretty frequently. That Pro Wrestling Revolver that he books and that's his shit. That's one of the hottest companies out there right now. And 3/4 of the talent that he books are TNA talent that he just books better than TNA does.
Yeah. And what I like about what they do at Pro Wrestling Revolver now, look, everybody knows I'm not like a big indie watcher, but the times that I have caught Pro Wrestling Revolver, they have very creative matches and very creative angles, and it's a lot of craziness and chaos. And I think that's one of the things that's been missing in TNA is craziness and chaos. Now, I'm not saying we need to do death matches. I'm not saying we need to go back to intergender because I just never was a fan. But I think just bringing in some more chaotic type stuff, not in the Knockouts World Title match with Khan and PCO. I'm not talking about that. But
it's got to be creative with the right people.
Matches and all that stuff. You know what I mean? Like Wrestling Revolver does stuff like that. They have really creative matches.
Yeah, it's got to be with the right people. Like, you don't want it. We like Khan and PCO. We're getting ready for Khan and PCO 4. Come on now, who wants to really see that? Let's be honest. Like.
Yeah,
but the way they use some of the talent too, like over there, dude, Gia, Ace is a heel, and Gia's like that hot heel manager. We're like, she's a huge part of the heater. We got her as a backstage interviewer here.
Right. Well, I think she does a great job as a backstage interviewer. But if they ever did decide to make a move to bring in like a different person, I think that would I think that would work. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
moving
Oh no,
her to a
I'm not saying she's a I'm not saying she's bad in that role, but like
no.
I think I would like to see her in more expanded role, like more on camera with Ace, even if it's like we thought maybe Ace and Bay were on their way to Splitsville, but it looks like they're good now. So or it seems that
Yeah.
way. So even if you threw her in that tandem with them, uh,
Yeah, I think that would be cool. Hey, what was your favorite match of the night?
oh man, it's hard, dude, because even some of the matches where you didn't think they were going to be like, I mean, you didn't expect them to be that good. They ended up being pretty good. I'm gonna have to go with Josh and Hammerstone. That
Okay.
for me, that just fucking tore the house down.
Yeah, I dug that match too. And I'm typically
Josh,
not a big
Josh
fan
got the
of,
victory, and Hammerstone looked really good, even in defeat.
yeah. I typically am not a fan of the last man standing because I just feel like it's, just the referee counting to 10 the whole time. But I thought they did a pretty good job with this one, even though at times I felt like the crowd was a little flat. But
Oh yeah, I thought that the fact that they didn't even really pull weapons out until halfway through the match or whatever it was, I thought that spoke volumes about like just the two of them and the chemistry they have and how they were able to just beat the piss out of each other without needing to add a whole bunch of extra stuff to it.
yeah, yeah. I got you. All right, man. Hey, I'm going to let you get out of here. I really appreciate you hopping on. I'm going to get to some of these chats real quick and then finish my recap, dude. But I really appreciate you coming on.
Hey, buddy, I appreciate you having us on.
All right, man. Bodyslam.net, Gerard, Ryan. Thank you very much.
Thanks, bud.
Bye. All right, that was Gerard, a big new distribution deal. Gerard himself, guys, man, you guys are going crazy in the chat. I cannot keep up, so I'm going to try to get to some of these chats. But before I do, I'm just going to run down the results of Rebellion, and let's see who should I go to. I guess I just clicked on cage side seats, cage side seats. So let's get guys. What it is, I'm going to go from the bottom up. Like I said, if you want to interrupt me, you want to get my attention, you want to stop me dead in my tracks, super chat. If not, no worries. I'll try to get to everybody's chats as soon as I can, but I really got to get to the results. All right, so let's go to the pre-show. Before I do, production, beautiful. The lighting was fantastic. It was clear. Audio, I didn't notice any audio issues whatsoever the whole night. And I thought it looked clear. In fact, it looked so clear I could see BQ's face the entire time, sitting in the front row. So I thought production was on point. So I want to give them kudos for that. I loved the stage setup. I loved the different lights on the tunnels, and I really liked the purple ropes for this one. And a little small detail, they just kind of made it fit the event. They rarely ever changed their decorations for the event, and I thought they did a good job with that. So so pre-show. It started off with Ace Austin, Chris Bay, and Leon Slater defeating Trey Miguel, Zach Wentz, and Myron Reed. I thought this match freaking ruled, man. I really loved the 6-man. Of course, we knew it was just going to be a spot fest, but those opening the show are typically pretty fun. It was unfortunate that a lot of the audience was kind of filing in during that time, which would not have happened had they been on the pay-per-view. And so that's why whenever a match I really want to see, when it gets moved to the pre-show, I typically feel bad, even though they try to argue that it's not that big of a deal. But I always feel bad for them because they're wrestling while people are still getting there. And I'm like, that's why that's bad. Like more people might have access to see the match because it's on YouTube, and I think there was when I was watching, there was 4,000 people watching. But there's a lot of empty seats because nobody's there yet, and Las Vegas typically for everything is a late arriving crowd. So, but with that said, I thought it was tremendous, and I thought Leon Slater specifically looked amazing. Great match on the pre-show. And then we go to the Digital Media Championship. Laredo Kid, I'm not going to go to cage match to see what his record is in TNA, but I want to say this might have been his first win, like singles match win. I think he won a multi-person match a while back. But I think his singles match win, I think this was his first singles win in 3 years. And he's been here for almost 5, and he's probably got 3 wins. But he is now the digital media champion. And the match was okay. It was nothing special. Crazy Steve took the pin. He rolled out of the ring and bailed. I think he's gone from the company. I know he's during Under Siege weekend. He is looking for other bookings. I think he's out, which is disappointing because I kind of dig where his new character was going. I like the new music, like the new mask, like all that stuff. But looks like he might be out. A Knockouts World Tag Team Championship. Jody Threat and Danny Luna. They defeated Decay. They had a Rancid guitarist, Lars Fredrickson. He's also from Lars Fredrickson and the Bastards. People forget about that. That was a good band. Check those guys out. It was Punks versus Goths, and the Punks got the victory here. I mean, with Lars, you knew that there was no way that they were going to freaking lose. All right, well, hey, I got another guest. He finally showed up. He is a North Carolina hoe. Lucha, my man, Lucha Doncic. How you doing, Lucha?
What's happening, Mike G? How we living? The North Carolina hoe.
I love having Lucha on. It is 420. I bet my man has been partaking in the green medicine for a while today.
You already know.
Watch it. He's got get high. Watch wrestling. Lucha, first question, man. What did you think of the ending with Matt Hardy coming out at the end? What do you think about Matt Hardy's return? Where are you at with that?
Not even just because I'm a North Carolina hoe. Like, I'm kind of fucking with it because, like you said on your preview show, if there's a place where Matt can do his broken shit and it like be chill and it work, this is where it should be at.
Yeah.
So I'm cool with it. We all know damn well he's not winning the belt. Come on now, let's not even go there. But it's gonna be fun. But it did feel out of place though, because what happened in the Knockouts title match, I was kind of expecting. In the main event there, that kind of fucked me up a little bit.
Yeah. I felt like the placement of it, like placing him in the world title picture was probably, like if you're going to bring him back, that was probably not the way to go, and that would get less criticism. If you're just bringing him back to be like on the undercard, that's fine. But I know, I see what they're doing. I know, I completely understand where they're going and what their plan is. And I'm with you. I don't hate it. I don't. I know people want me to hate it, but I just don't. Like my problem with Matt Hardy is he can't go anymore, right? But if he can do some entertaining shit on the way to the match, I think we're gonna be okay. And then he's gonna have a 7-minute match with Moose in Montreal. You know what I mean?
I don't even think it's gonna make it to Montreal. This might be fucking Under Siege shit, and then he's dealing with PCO and then by Slammiversary.
Yeah, that might be the way to go, because I thought that he was going to. My idea was for him to come in the digital media title scene and work with PCO and Steve. You know what I mean, and do stuff like that. But he's coming straight. He's coming straight for the King, or not. Not King Kazarian. But he's coming straight for Moose, which I found to be a little bit. That was probably where, in my opinion, that would be the miss.
True. I mean, I would have rather him be dealing with PCO Khan and them, but also, even though we saw it anyway, I don't want to give them pay-per-view time just for this shit to pop up on. Oh,
hold on, we got to run in. Hold on, I got to bring this guy on because he's backstage right now in the Palms. What's up, BQ?
Yo. Shit. I'm not gonna lie, I can't hear you real well. Let me move.
Okay. All right, man. You were in the front.
Fellas.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
For some reason I got no volume for you guys.
Is your speaker turned up?
We gotta get my man some Raycons.
What the fucking hell? I got no volume. I don't know what it is. I can't hear you at all.
Oh shit. Okay.
I'm gonna have to dip out.
Okay. Well, that was BQ. Front row BQ. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
He jumped in. That's all good. I
was expecting Illa.
Yeah. So but I really don't hate it. I think I'm cool with it. Overall thoughts on the Rebellion? Where are you at?
Everything was fire up until the Schmoz Fest that was the Knockouts title match. I mean, the match started cool, but then when everybody and their mama started coming out, it kind of lost me. I ain't gonna hold. slightly surprised Jordan retained though. So I was for sure thinking they was gonna give it to SDL and put her in the system. That was my shit.
Bro, we as soon as we knew the good hands got hired to help her out, she was gone. Yeah.
I agree. I said the same shit when she walked out. I was like, oh man, the good hands with everybody driving.
But I guess we got some good news out of the match. You get to use your Sammy Calorie hand joke, so that's nice.
Shouts out to the homie. I love it. Yeah, I was. This was a very Lucha centric pay-per-view. You know what I'm saying? This is a very Lucha centric news thing. I don't know if you did.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get into it because I did cover the Tessa stuff at the top of the show, but there's only been one person that I know of that has been fighting to get Tessa Blanchard back onto television, and it's been you for years. She got released 4 years ago, and you have been all in on bringing her back. And damn it all, PW Insider comes out with a report today that they are currently in negotiations. Let's bring BQ
I can hear them now. I can hear you now. Yeah, I can. It's gonna be awkward because I'm gonna have to put the phone in my ear a little bit, but.
Oh, just hey, tell us what your overall thoughts on the show were, and what you think of Matt Hardy, and then you can cut out.
So, yeah, the Matt Hardy thing got hold up. Baddie alert behind me. The Matt Hardy thing was we could see him in the dark. We knew it was him. Yeah. So you probably I don't know if you could saw on TV. You said it cut out on TV?
The lights went out.
Oh, the lights went out. But yeah, it got over, man. People knew it was him immediately because they could see his silhouette with his hair and all that. So everyone popped, man. But that got over real well with the audience.
How did West Side Gun react to it?
What was that?
How did West Side Gun react to it?
I wasn't looking at him. I was watching Nemeth a little bit. Whatever his first name is, I forgot his brother.
Ryan.
West Side Gun was pretty chill through the whole thing.
That's funny. What were your overall thoughts on the show?
Man, this was a lot of fun, man. I think the crowd was into everything. It was heel heavy. You know, everyone wanted the heels to win just about every single match. The knockouts match, as I'm sure looked like fucking shit on TV, it was that way in person too.
Yeah.
Like people are just like, what the fuck are they doing? It was just, I cannot believe it was PCO when the light. I was like, this motherfucker, man. But no, my daughter said this was better than Hard to Kill as far as the live experience goes. It was good, man. I think the only one that didn't get over the audience was that knockouts match. Like, you could just hear people like, what the fuck is this? Like, end the match. And then the fucking goof ref, man, that Frank dude, people are just like, what the fuck, man? I think in the Brace for Impact chat, we were saying, like, does anyone come up like a bigger goof on TV as a referee, man? Yeah. But in person, oh my God.
Hey, man, you leave Francois Kazarian alone.
Say that again?
Leave Francois Kazarian alone.
Yeah. I'm trying to think anything else, though. Yeah, everyone thought Nemeth was going to get involved because he was sitting in the same exact seat as the dude who got involved in Rich Swan's match.
You mean Sean Berryman?
Yeah.
Former San Diego Charger?
Yeah, dude, I didn't even realize that was him, man. So even as a Charger fan, I don't recognize football players, dude.
Yeah.
It's not like basketball where I just know who everyone is, man. Like with football, I feel like I rarely see people without their helmets. Mm-hmm. And so they said it was him. I was like, oh, Jesus Christ, man.
Fucking Maryland Terrapins legend.
Yeah. Hey, BQ, well, I'm glad you had a good time, man. We saw you in the front row the whole night. And of course, you were blowing up the chat the whole night. I really appreciate you coming on. I'll let you go, dude. And we'll finish the show. Man.
Oh, yeah. All right. Bye-bye.
Later. All right, that was a BQ from the Impact Lounge, man. So we got a star-studded show. Dude, oh, yeah,
just
so
like,
Tessa Blanchard.
Just like the show was star-studded tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. So where are you at with Tessa, man? You think that she's really coming in or what?
I mean, we were all saying that if Camille don't show up by the night, she's not coming.
Yeah.
Yet the only thing we heard about was, shit with TNA and Tessa. So maybe my guessing is, we missed the boat on that one. She decided to do something else. So that we're just going down the list. Next available female free agent with any sort of, name value and shit that hasn't been brought back in a while is her. And plus, bro, regardless if whatever happened, it's been 4 years.
Yeah. Look, what I always say, time and money can heal all wounds. And Tessa's been working in CMLL, and as far as I know, there hasn't been any incident. So
the cartel ain't got her yet.
Yeah, I guess. So I don't know. I'm like, okay if I never see her on TV again. but when she was on TV, she was very good. I always thought she was very good. So like the only intergender match I've ever liked was the one she was in with Sammy.
I don't know. The one with her and Ace is kind of slept on from Sacrifice 2020.
Yeah, I think I vaguely remember that might have been her last match in the company, I think. Because the pandemic started right after that, wasn't it? They had
tapings at Atlanta at the Coca-Cola Roxy because they were leading to the triple threat of her, Eddie, and Elgin.
Oh, that's right. Man, they had Elgin, Tessa, and Joey Ryan in the same company at the same time. and then COVID hits, dude. Yeah. COVID hits. I was like, man.
COVID hits, they get exposed, and then
all right. Before I let you go, I'm gonna let you go here in a minute. What was your favorite match of the night?
Full Metal Mayhem, especially EY getting his shit split. I hope he's okay.
Yeah, that looked disgusting, dude.
Yeah, but that was like the two vets of the company, what I'm saying, holding down the middle of the show, like the stick in a tent, the joint that keeps it together, like, what I'm saying. That was kind of that match for me.
Yeah, and then thoughts on Santana's return?
Dug it. I hope this ain't the end of him and Maclin, because I kind of like what they could do if they really like gave him some time to cook.
Yeah. Well,
can we say that yet?
I you know what? Hold on. Somebody.
Are we going grocery shopping?
Well, I want to say they're still microwaving, but only because Knockouts division is in dire straits right now. Okay, and up until tonight, the production had been pretty brutal, but tonight was on point. I thought tonight looked beautiful. I think if they showed tonight's episode, the production that they had tonight, if they shopped that around to networks, I would think networks would be more interested. But those Philly tapings were pretty tough, right?
That's right.
And so with the lighting, because lighting and like the clarity of the video, all that stuff, like it's really important. And they got after it tonight, and I'm happy for them. They did their jobs. So if they can get sustained superior performance, I'm gonna call them cooking. But right now, we're still microwaving, but it's like a toaster oven at this point. I'm calling it like we're doing a toaster oven, but we ain't on the grill just yet.
We're doing a crock pot. It's a very slow cook. We start the shit at 8 in the morning. It's good by 5 p.m.
Yeah. We doing some crock pot chili right now. It can turn out to be ass though eventually. All right, Lucha. I really appreciate you coming on. I'm gonna get through the rest of these results. I'm gonna hit these chats and I'm gonna get out of here. All right, dude.
Yeah. I'll be in the chat.
All right, brother.
All right, later.
All right, that was my boy Lucha Doncic, number one wrestling fan in the state of North Carolina. But looks like he's got some company because I think Antonio Baker earlier said that he was also from North Carolina. So I like seeing where y'all are from. And then Joseph G, my cousin, says Tessa versus Grace could be a really good feud. Hey, look, I think people will shun TNA for having Tessa Blanchard in their company. But those same people were really excited to watch CMLL a couple weeks ago when AEW was there. And Tessa's been working for CMLL for like a year. So I think that if you should have boycotted those shows too. If that's the case. But let's go to the main card. I'm going to run through the results and I'm going to get to your chats because I do got to get out of here in just a few minutes. All right, so let's go to the Rebellion pay-per-view. X Division Championship, Mustafa Ali, he defeated Jake something to retain the title. I really liked this match. I really felt like Mustafa Ali did a great job of making Jake look like a monster. And he cheated to win, and that's what heels do. He even though he had, like, they're going to turn this guy babyface. The crowd loves this guy. The TNA crowd does. I know we talked about on Mike and JD a couple nights ago that the New Japan crowd didn't care for him, but the TNA crowd, they like this guy. And I think they're going to turn him babyface. But I thought this was a very good match and a very good opener. It ended a little bit on a whimper because of the cheating to win, but that's pro wrestling, guys. Know what you're watching. You're watching pro wrestling, and they heels cheat to win. Okay? But I thought it was a very good match. And I thought Jake something looked incredible. He lost the match in a way that still makes him look like he's a monster. And I think that I think they need another secondary title that's for like the heavyweights for Jake to compete in, and you know, get some title wins and things like that. Rich Swann then goes on to defeat Joe Hendry. This was a schmoz fest, but I thought it was a very clever schmoz fest. At one point, AJ Francis, who's on the outside, he's going to get a chain from some idiot like influencer. Influencer's not a real thing, but getting his chain from an influencer, and he's going to hit Joe Hendry with the chain. Then Sean Merriman stops him. Sean Merriman's his old teammate at the University of Maryland, and stops him dead in his tracks, and then hops in the ring and challenges AJ to a fight. We think they're going to fight. Merriman's jacked. He's a former All-Pro with the San Diego Chargers, who is now LA Chargers, obviously, and the Buffalo Bills. He's jacked to the gills. Looks incredible. Looks like he should be the world champion, to be honest with you. And then he turns around and clotheslines Joe Hendry, and then Rich Swann got the victory. I would hope that Merriman's gonna stick around for a little bit, but I don't know. I don't know if this means Merriman's gonna stick around, but if they are, count me in on Sean Merriman. He had a WWE tryout not that long ago, and he has had some pro wrestling training. I would be interested in seeing him wrestle, and I hope they get to that point. Full Metal Mayhem, Frankie Kazarian defeated Eric Young. Another pretty good match. It kind of went up and down a little bit. I think it was a little bit, it's kind of a plunder match, right? Obviously. But I thought it was pretty good. But then they get to the end, and Kaz is going to hit a flux capacitor on Eric Young through a table. And they missed the table, and Eric Young's, the side of his head goes through the edge of the table, and it slices him right above his ear. He's just got blood everywhere. It was bad. They actually cut away from the scene because doctors and Tummy Dreamer were there. Shout out Lucha. Tummy Dreamer was there, cleaning, trying to help him out. And so they actually cut away to a vignette. So I hope Eric's okay. It looked like he got up under his own power though, so that's good. And then after that, Steve Maclin comes out. He's got a contract in hand. Says he has a TNA contract, but he had one final demand. He wanted a match at Rebellion. Santino comes out, says we got another new talent that has accepted your challenge. And then Santana comes out through the impact zone, through the crowd, to a huge ovation. The guy is super over. Looked great. Brother's got abs now. He's huge, got abs. He's sober. He looks so freaking happy to be there. And that's that's the most important thing. He looked happy to be there, and the crowd was happy to see him. Tons of Santana chants. Everybody was going crazy the whole night, or going crazy for the match. I do think at one point Maclin, when he was doing his diving headbutt, I think it was supposed to be fake and it was real, and he knocked himself loopy, and he looked like he was like the rest of the match just couldn't go, honestly. And so that was the tough part. So, oh shit, guys, I have to go in 2 minutes. 2 minutes. I brought so many people on. I'm not able to get to the results and get to all your chats, so I do apologize. And then we go to a TNA World Tag Team Championship match, which was one of my better matches of the night, like a sleeper of a match. Like these wrestlers can all go at different points, but Brian Myers and Eddie Edwards defeated Mike Bailey and Trent Seven. Trent Seven, who is probably the most committed man to being out of shape that I've ever seen in my life. But they actually turned out to have a really good match. It was way better than I anticipated. Of course, I came in with no expectations. I just didn't think it was going to be that good. I really didn't. But Eddie and Brian are a very good tag team, like very underrated tag team. They're getting slept on. And Speedball is obviously great, and Trent Seven's a gimmick. It worked. It had heat. Great near falls. I really like the match. But we got a roster cut into a Boston Knee Party to Seven for the victory. Of course, Seven gets pinned. Now, considering they're going to Montreal, which I think we talked about here on this show weeks ago, they made the announcement they're going to Montreal. I think it's time to put Speedball in the main event against Mustafa Ali for the X Division Championship, and that's where you take the belt off Ali. I don't think you need to have Moose and Matt Hardy as the main event. I think main event is Ali versus Speedball. You need to heat Speedball up, give him that moment in Montreal. That's where you do it. And then we get another John Gresham vignette, and he's doing his. He looks like he's doing kind of a Great Muta gimmick. He has this new octopus mask. It looks really cool. He's got grilled teeth. I don't know what to think of it. We're gonna see what it looks like. Maybe at the tapings tomorrow. Maybe we'll see him coming up this week on Thursday night. And then we go to the Knockouts Championship. Jordan Grace defeats Steph DeLander to retain the title. This was one of the worst fucking things I've ever seen in my goddamn life. This was an embarrassment. Grace and DeLander can wrestle. They should have just let him wrestle, but they had gimmick after gimmick after gimmick. Good Hands are down there cheating. They knocked out the referee. They took his shirt off. They're about to pin Jordan Grace, and the lights go out, and it's fucking PCO. PCO, of course. And then he's beating everybody up. He's about to beat DeLander up, and then lights go out, and it's fucking dummy Khan with a stupid head, looking like a racist truck driver, starts to attack PCO. And then the lights go out again, and you got Sammy Calrihan there with his bat, clearing the ring, and then Jordan Grace ends up getting the victory. It was very much in 1998, like ECW. We don't know how to book, so we're just going to do stupid shit for 30 minutes. It was awful. Never go watch this again. But if Sammy's back and if he can book, I'm cool with that. But he did not look good. He looked like he still pretty out of shape. So I feel bad for the guy. And then we go to the TNA World Championship, which I thought was a very good, like the best match, Moose match of the year, I think. Like it's his best match of this reign. And he got the victory clean as a sheet. No cheat. Just beat the guy. And I thought it was a very good match. Just good stuff. And I think people were kind of like expecting him to kick out there. And that's why it ended kind of flat. And then in fact, like his shoulder did come up like slightly after that 3 count, so people thought maybe he'd kicked out. But no, he definitely got pinned. And Moose is still the champion. So they're committed to the system gimmick. And then, of course, we already talked about it. The lights go out. Up comes Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy attacks Moose, hits him with a twist of fate. Show goes off the air, and Matt's holding the TNA championship looking at it. And he is getting ready. I think it's going to be Moose and Matt Hardy in Montreal for Slammiversary. Now, of course, I talked about it on Patreon. Hold on. Antonio Baker says, the Verdun Auditorium holds 5,000 overall. So the Verdun Auditorium, for those of you guys that don't know, that's where like Montreal wrestling used to be held from back in the day of like the Rougeau family when they would run it and all those guys. Like it's been around forever. And so it's a pretty legendary venue, but like the bigger arena where the hockey team, the hockey team plays, that's where WWE always goes. That's where they just had their Raw with Sami Callihan on Monday. So I think that if they put Speedball on top and they put PCO in a prominent match, and they, like I said, they need to bring in Rick Martel and Jacques Rougeau. They need to bring them in as like legends and just like to say hi, like to wave to the crowd and make that big announcement. They can fill that place up. They could probably do 2,000. Easy. All right, guys. Hey, I thought I was going to have more time, but I do not. Just got a message that said I have to go. So I do apologize to everybody in the chat. I really wanted to get to your chats tonight, but I could not. So I do appreciate you being here. Thank you very much for being here. Go to patreon.com/The Mike and JD Show. We're going to have some more content out. I'm probably going to do a Dynasty, not tomorrow night. I can't do it tomorrow night, but a Dynasty recap very, very soon. Okay, I'm going to do a Dynasty recap. So everybody check out Dynasty tomorrow night on pay-per-view. And it should be one of the best pay-per-views of the year. So All right, that is going to do it for me this week. And until next time, mahalo.